been to some fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I had seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Oh, sit down, oh, sit down, oh, sit down. Sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 down. Sympathy.
Evening. Have my two esteemed guests here tonight, Kenny, Ken, and the Yeti. We're going to talk about Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, and everything football, basically. Kenny, mate, thank you for coming on once again. Great show last night. May I just say, I went up nearly 50 subs in one evening last night. That's unheard of, really. It was a great show. Man. It was a great show.
Well done.
Well done, mate.
And yeah, it was great. Thanks to everybody subbed. It does make a big difference to the show. Yeah, thanks all for that. Kenny, how's your day been, man?
It's been really good. I've been working my nuts off at work. I've managed to flick through like the semi-finals of the Cricket World Cup, but it's all about international week. And when I think with the fixtures England have got Macedonia and Malta, I can see very well why no one's happy with international week. But you think it's come on off a really, really good weekend of football. The Chelsea Man City game was a good game of football. We beat Burnley. Nottingham Forest and West Ham were involved in another barnstormer as well. It was a tale of set pieces for Nottingham Forest, I'm afraid, which cost them. You got the last minute goals at Molineux. Spurs should have seen it out, but they got tired. And then obviously you've got the situation. Liverpool won at the weekend. Man United scraped through against Luton. So there's been a good week of Premiership football. Let's not forget what happened in the Champions League in terms of Man United finding a way to lose against Copenhagen and then us beating Sevilla. So things have happened in the week. That's good talking points, really accept. So, when you've got an international week, it's very, very underwhelming. There's the Premiership still, doing its worst.
Absolutely, totally agree there, mate. Yeti, how's your day been, my friend?
All good, mate. I said that I weren't going to be on tonight because basically I got into my cleaning up mode, and when Yeti gets into the cleaning up mode, Yeti has to do the cleaning up because when I'm not in the mode, I don't do it. So I have to do it when I feel like it. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Bit bored with this international break. I mean, don't see no point in it, to be honest. I mean, who we're playing? Macedonia and San Marino, is it? San Marino?
Malta.
No, it's Macedonia and Malta.
Yeah, I mean, what is the point? I mean, I have to agree with Lee. You just chuck them in a box in their own thingy, and then whichever one wins can join the big boys in the actual big cups. Because half of them's not, it's just a waste. I mean, I suppose get some money out of it, but I just think it's a waste, man. And I'm not into international football. I haven't been for ages. I've seen some of that show you did last night, mate. Really enjoyed it. It's good stuff. Really good stuff. So big up on the 50k subs. 50k, I mean 50 subs. Yeah, big up on that, mate.
Yes, of course, tomorrow night I'm on with the Yeti. We're going to talk part 2 of our home and away trips. Yeti's going to talk about his incidences, good and bad. That's at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, so that'll be another fun show. Anyway, let's get into this. Kenny, I'll come to you first for this one. We've watched a lot of football in our time, as has the Yeti. Let's start this off. I mean, I think the referee on Saturday got Vieira's red card bang on. That was a straight red, studs on the bloke's knee, can cause serious damage. So I want you to tell me what you think about that. But also, I personally see it the standard of refereeing has got pretty poor now. So
Yeah.
many bad errors. They seem to tend to be reliant now on VAR, and I think that's a bad thing for football, man.
I think first and foremost, when you talk about Vieira, you know, it's an open. You know what? It's basically opening and shutting the case. You know, I don't think any Arsenal player had any complaints except for Vieira because he's thinking, I've just come on, I wanted to make an impression, but deep down he knows he was he had to go. You know, the referee was right in front of it. Oliver's, believe it or not, Mark Oliver's probably is one of the better referees.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't need VAR for that to go off. He made an instant decision. It was a dangerous tackle. You know, as Yeti would know, obviously being on the other side, he's probably seen Arsenal players complain about wanting protection from referees, wanting protection from those kind of tackles. Arsene Wenger over the years says every time everyone says we're soft, this is what's happened. You know, let's not forget we got legacy of 2 bad injuries. You know, with Arsenal. From Shawcross and Ramsey, and then before that was Martin Taylor and Eduardo. So you can't really have a go and ask at a referee when an Arsenal player is involved in that, because we've always complained about that sort of tackle. In terms of referee standards, you're right. The refereeing standards have been poor, and the reason why it's been poor is because there's no consistency with VAR, you know, especially with the penalty situations and all sorts of things. Referees are scared of making mistakes. You know, VAR was there to help referees because, you know, what we do with VAR, we put the genie back in the bottle up because we don't like VAR because we're not used to having the continuity of celebrations from goals or the continuity of the game. So we don't like it. But that was the only thing that was ever going to happen. As soon as you got VAR in, there was always going to be a situation where it's going to take time for people to, you know, look at the video evidence and video action replay. So the standard refereeing is poor, but it was poor, really poor, and that's why we got VAR in the first place. And it wasn't just in England; it was probably all over the world that we needed VAR. So let's not forget, we weren't happy with goal line technology. But we had to go on technology because it was just a farce what happened in South Africa with Frank Lampard. So I think football was happy with that, but the standard refereeing just got worse and worse and worse. I mean, every criticism you have VAR, be thankful that off the ball incidences that referees don't see are sending offs now. Be thankful for the fact that goals that were given, it should never have been given, have been chalked off there. You think about it, with that VAR, you'll be seeing a lot of high-scoring games, but you'll be seeing some really bad decisions. I mean, you think about it. Had it not been for VAR, if you're a Spurs fan, Man City, Spurs would never have got that Champions League final in 2019. Remember when Sterling scored that goal to make it 5-3? Allegedly, VAR chalks it off. You know, and it's the same with Arsenal. We've had situations where we're not too sure about things going our way. You know, it's not perfect, but it's the best thing ever.
There's good and bad, isn't there?
Yeah, but I do think the standard refereeing was high, and we had this VAR. We wouldn't have the problems because in Germany we don't have problems with refereeing decisions. We don't have problems in Spain, you know, Italy and France and Portugal, and those are meant to be the major leagues just alongside the Premiership. We like to say our league's the best in the world, but the defending is not the best. You know, some of the football's not great, and the refereeing is just horrendous. And the reason why it's horrendous is because of us. It's because of
nobody
us.
Can cross a ball.
Yeah, but the referees, like derby matches, if referees referee properly in derby matches, we only have 9. We only be left with 8-a-side football. But because referees let things go, we're happy for that until it happens to our player, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that is true.
Referees, you know, referees should be left alone to referee, do things by the book. As soon as you do things by the book, you'll see standards. You won't like it, but you'll have no complaints. But at least I'd rather be complaining about referees being fuddy-duddies than complain about referees making errors. And that's the thing. English football needs to ask what they want. If you want referees to do it by the book, then you're going to have no free-flowing football. You're going to have robots. You're going to have derby matches that are played like friendlies. Because if that's what you really want, then leave the referees alone. But if you want it done by the book, like it is abroad, then that's the only way I can see it.
I mean, I saw a report. I think it was on Sky News. I can't remember what South American country it was, that the home team's management tried to storm the VAR office because of an incident. I mean, that's how extreme it is in other South America anyway. But, I mean, Yeti, I mean, you know, we've all fallen foul. We've all benefited from VAR. But I just think that personally, mate, referees nowadays, it just rely at a professional level, obviously, just rely too much on VAR to back them up. I mean, obviously, at the amateur levels, and if you're a young referee, you want to try and escalate your way up through the channels to get to the top flight, great, fantastic. But the fact of the matter is, if I still talk, I'm still in a training thing, coaching thing of young referees. Now, the thing is, a lot of these youngsters, they learn the law, right? And then next year that law changes. And then there's an advisory, and then there's this. And it is so confusing. I mean, I was a referee for a long time, and I get confused now. I think, what?
Yeah.
Something will come through from the FA, and it's a slight adjustment to this or a slight adjustment to that. And you think, why? I mean, to give me your opinion on it. I think it's just ridiculous, man.
Well, I mean, like you say, I mean, big up to everybody in the chat all the time. And basically, I mean, I preferred it back in the old days where basically you go and watch a game. There's a referee mistake or whatever. You go to the pub afterwards. You have an argument. You know, you have an argument about it between each other and give the referee a load of crap. You eventually get that drunk. You even forgot you went to a football match in the first place. And then you just get on with your week. You know what I mean? And like Gavin said in the chat a bit ago, it's the consistency that we're bothered about. And the thing that really winds me up about VAR is VAR was brought in because referees wasn't doing their jobs properly. But my issue with that is the same referees that aren't doing their jobs properly are the referees that are watching the VAR videos. So basically, they're then getting an extra wage because they're not just doing the refereeing; they're actually doing the VAR officiating as well. So they've actually gained out of this situation, not actually lost out of it. Yes, they've lost another day where they probably would have been off or whatever, but they just sit in front of a video. And another issue I have with it as well is it's like anywhere in workplaces, certain people stick up for their mates. You know, and we've seen that happen so many times. It's like, oh no, my ref's got it wrong. Oh, we've got to back him. We've got to back him. He's a good lad. He is. You know, he buys me a pint on a Friday. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that kind of gets me about it as well. But the thing is, personally, there's mistakes happen. They always happen. And like Kenny rightly says, you know, you do well out of some of them and you don't do well out of others. There is reasons for having this kind of thing. And I've noticed it in a few games that I've watched in the last few weeks. Whereas, like, you know, if it weren't for VAR, that wouldn't have been picked up and all that kind of stuff. So it's good in that respect. The Vieira challenge, when I first saw it, I thought, no, he's just missed him. That guy's play acting. But then I watched the replays again, and it's atrocious, man. It's absolutely ridiculous, straight on his knee. But at the same point, it's nowhere near as bad as the Exocet missile that Havertz did against Newcastle. And Guimaraes gets a what do you call it? Oh, substitution. Gets a what do you call it when you suspension? How he gets a suspension and Havertz don't get anything is beyond me. Are they protecting this fraud or what? I don't know.
Well, I'm just going to do a couple of starred comments. Carl Rossi, as usual, you're a madman, man. Gifted one Arsenal history.
Yeah, massive legend.
Thank you for that, mate. Thank you for that. Carl Yahar Smithy AFC, good to see you, my friend. Evening, lads. Hope you're all well. Spent a whole day binge watching your channel, and I've learned so much about the Arsenal. Keep going. Come on, you Gunners. It's a pleasure, man. That's what we're here for.
Big up, mate.
To entertain. We do our best. Taib Hussein says Pierluigi Collini. I was very lucky. Croydon Fairfield Halls. He did a talk show many years ago, many years ago, and I managed to get a ticket to go to listen to that man. He was unbelievable. He was such, he was a scary looking man. Those eyes.
It was have eyes.
Yeah, they'd burn holes in your chest. They were that. He was a scary man, but he was probably the best referee I've ever seen in my life. And the talk he did of how he used to control games was quite fascinating. And I might actually do a show on that in a future month, because about refereeing. But yeah, fascinating man. He was the top referee for me in the world. At his peak, he was just amazing.
He was quality. But that's another thing which I forgot to say, actually. Coming from like League One, Championship, and all this, that, and the other in the last 23 years, I've seen a lot of referees that was absolutely pathetic. Terrible referees, man, even at that level, and even in the Championship. And where are they now? They're in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's the best league in the world, why are you like just handing money to refs that don't deserve it?
I mean, one of the biggest problems is, and this is very true fact. We see this. So many referees will referee. They start at under 16 level. That's fine. They move up to the over 16s. And but even under 16s, you get parents giving a 14, 15-year-old junior referee abuse on a Saturday morning. I've got 2 pitches up the road here, right? Kids' pitches. And I occasionally go up and have a watch, just to see. And you get some parents effing and blinding at this young kid referee.
Yeah.
And it's just not on, man. It's just not. Anyway, let's move on from that.
No. And they still don't learn.
No, that's very true. Kenny, I don't get this. Why does Mikel Arteta have young kids on the bench, right? Case in point, Burnley, 3-1. We're 3-1 up, 5 minutes to go. Why not give them a run?
I look at these young kids in the bench, and I think, what's the point of having them there? Because in terms of I think the reason why he has on the bench is so, I don't know. It's maybe it's just to fill in a quota, but in terms of getting them on the pitch, can you imagine if you've got a young bloke on a pitch, and then you've got an established player, and the young players come before the established player? What does that say to the established player? You know what I mean? That is a kick in the teeth for the established player. For instance, say you brought in a young midfielder.
He can say to that established player, like he was bringing on El Neni, right? Yeah, 2 minutes to go. El Neni never even got on because the ref didn't.
You know what? I forgot about that, because I did remember he was desperate to get El Neni on, and the ball just wouldn't go out of play. And I was thinking, I'll be fuming if that was me. fuming. And the first thing someone said to me goes, "Does El Neni get his win bonus?"
Yeah, no. The thing
But
is, Kenny,
what?
good manager. If you're a good manager,
Mm.
right? You've got El Neni sat there, yeah, and you've got young kid, and if you just say, "Look, I want to give this kid 5 minutes," right? It's nothing good to do. I just want to give him 5 minutes, and just to see what he's got in him. I'm sure El Neni would say, "Yeah, okay, boss, that's fine. I ain't bothered."
Some players just react badly because at the end of the day, it's all about management, isn't it? We all know that we all got theories about his man management, and we're not particularly impressed how he's dealt with all the decisions he's made since he's come in terms of either getting rid of players or dropping players. He doesn't do it in a what I call a logical way. I don't mind players being upset, but at least do it properly and just be honest. And I think some of his decisions have been a bit wishy-washy, dishonest. But in terms of like, if you've got players like, if you've asked El Neni to sign a new contract for a year's extension, and a kid is going in front of him, that's a man management problem. The same with Reece Nelson. We've always said, why the hell have you asked these guys to sign contracts yet? They're further away from your plans as they were the season before, but you asked them to sign contracts. So if you asked them to sign contracts and you don't want them to feel as further away from the teams before, if a 15-year-old gets in like Wayne Yeti and he gets on ahead of Reece Nelson, that's a problem, mate, for Reece Nelson. I'll be having it. I wouldn't be having it.
I hear
then
that.
Reece Nelson has to perform better next time he gets a chance.
All right, it's a shot in the thing, but I think that's the thing with managers, isn't it? Is that it's going to be a situation where you think, all right, it's good. It's only about 5 minutes. Give him a bit of run around, blah blah. But Reece Nelson may want that chance to get on the pitch and get his match bonus. It's a hard one with the kids, isn't it? That's why the most appropriate competition for the kids is probably an FA Cup game against Yeovil or League Cup game against AFC Wimbledon. Those are the sort of games where you want to play things. But again, when you've got players, fringe players like El Neni, Nelson, Cedric Suarez, that's three on the top of my head, and then you've got players like Vivior as well who need games. A kid gets on before them lot, you've got a man management problem in your hands because
last night we had Reading Arsenal in the Papa John's trophy, right, which is the reserve team trophy, Football League Cup. We had a £35 million player there take a penalty and miss. Who was?
Yeah, Vieira played, didn't he? Vieira and Reece Nelson played that game in it as well.
Yeah, Vieira missed a penalty. Well, it was saved. To be honest. But that's a £35 million player playing in the reserves. Anyway, let's move on because I've got a lot of other things I want to talk about.
Just a comment on that one, Jess, before you move on. At the end of the day, if you don't trust them enough, why are they on the bench in the first place? Because if you have any injuries or anything like that, you've got to chuck him in at deep end anyway. And the one thing I'd be saying to Reece Nelson, if he's got a problem with me chucking a 15-year-old kid on the pitch, I would be saying to him, you need to ask yourself why I choose him over you.
Good point.
And then you need to pick up your performance, and then you'll be the one gets chosen every week.
And he did it last season at Brentford with that kid, what, 15 or something or other?
Yeah, that was Wayne Yeti, isn't it? Wayne Yeti.
Yeah, it was a piss take. Never seen him
I'm
since.
a big advocate for competition for shirts. I think that's how you get the best out of players.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get into some of the games. Yeah, I'm going to come to you on this, right?
Oh, cheers.
Yeah, you're here for the punishment. Yeah, I mean, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, all went wrong.
Good, mate. Good.
I know you did a watch long for it. I was listening to it. I mean, it's frustrating, wasn't it? Frustrating, really.
It is frustrating. I mean, I just absolutely gutted. I thought we played really well. Thought we was better than them. To be fair, thought we deserved to win. But like Kenny says, you fall asleep on a set piece at the end with Socek, and there's only going to be one outcome with that. It's the one thing that we need to get right at the moment is to win from a winning position, and to manage to control the game. Yeah, it's great to keep entertaining the fans and keep going forward, but we need to learn that, where you just go keep plan B type of thing, really, which we should have, and be able to just control the game, control the ball, and just stop the teams coming. I mean, we got done at Man United, where we should have beat them because we went 2-0 up straight away. We got done. We got a draw against Luton because we couldn't control the game and close it down. And then we got the same with West Ham. And it's just frustrating because I thought we looked absolutely awesome. We wasn't as great as what we was last Sunday. I'll always be honest about that. But I did think we had some really good movement and some really good things happening in that game. And the 2 goals was absolute quality. But, it don't mean nothing if you don't hold on to it. So, we end up like dropping points again. But at least the only positive I can take is we've basically got West Ham at Upton Park or wherever they play now, Olympic Stadium. We've got that one out of the way. So, and the next 2 games are Brighton at home and Everton at home. And I can only see wins there because we are damn good at home. So, that's going to be good in that respect. And then we've got the Spuds at White Hart Lane. And we all know that that's doable. Just ask Chelsea.
Yeah, well, you've got to beat them, mate. If you don't beat them, right, you're banned on this channel. That's it.
Cancelled, mate. Cancelled.
You're out. You're gone. Kenny,
you're going to do it like Lord Sugar.
Yeah. You're
going to do that big speech and then go, Yeti, you're fired.
Yeah, that's it. I might do that. Kenny, let's move into this one. I saw a comment, and this is not me. This is a comment that somebody's made. And maybe there's a bit of background to this. Is Arsenal playing at a slower intensity? Is this a new tactic? Do you think this is?
You know what? Gary Neville thinks it is.
It wasn't
Gary Neville. I was watching a show. Gary Neville. The overlap. They were talking about their international experiences, and one of the things they're asking, who do you think's going to win the league? And everyone said Man City. And he said, well, Arsenal. He Arsenal because he said that we're not playing. We're not playing good football at the moment. We started really slowly, but he thinks that the intensity and the sort of speed in which we were playing is going to come in the second half of the season. Basically what we're doing is that he thinks we're pacing ourselves.
Yeah.
In order to have that last run of energy that we started with. We started with a load of energy, and then he reckons last season we ran out of
steam, out
of ideas, ran out of steam, and we started losing games on a regular basis towards the charge for the league. And he reckons that let's get our best form out of the way now, and then we'll show our true selves the second half of the season. So that's what Gary Neville thinks.
That was his idea.
We have changed our style of play because we haven't got Jesus on a regular basis. We haven't got Thomas Partey, and we're trying to, like I said, carry Kai Havertz into certain parts of the midfield and the front, just beyond the attackers. So yeah, we have changed our style of play, but one thing we've had, which we probably didn't have last season, especially towards the end, we have athletes, we have energy, where even if it gets to the last minute, even if we're a goal down, we could turn it around and win the game, or come back into it. So that's what we're doing a lot better. Defensively, we're better as well. We're a much better unit defensively than we were.
Gary Neville. It was. I thought it was somebody else, but it's actually Gary Neville. view.
Yeah,
Okay.
so in terms of that, he has changed the style of play, but he does it every season. You know, Arsenal. Anyone who watches Arsenal knows that the way we played last season is a lot different than the way we're playing now. And 2021 to 22, you know, when the young team was coming into its own, it was far from a finished article, and it was definitely not playing as the exciting football that we saw a lot of last season. So you've got to get used to it when you're with Arteta. Whenever a new season starts, we'll get a new style of play, and he'll say, because I've got new players coming in, I want to bed it in. He's not satisfied with certain players, and he's certainly not satisfied with the way he plays. You know, if any player thinks they're sure of their place, unless you're Bukayo Saka, you're not sure of your place.
But he bought him.
I know. He bought him. He bought Ramsdale, but look what happened with Ramsdale. He bought Ramsdale. Yeah. Look what happened. He didn't. He decided he wasn't what he wanted, and that's the thing you've got to remember. With
bought Havertz and don't even know where to play.
Yeah, that's it. So the only player that he truly trusts, in my opinion, is Saka. Saka's his attack. You look at the way we've played since lockdown. The common denominator, the common guy who never gets dropped is Saka. Never gets rested. He only gets rested because the medical team have probably put a gun to Arteta and said, if you play this guy, we're gonna tie you up and or shoot you, because you've seen it when you think Saka's not going to play and he's limping, you're thinking, right, we're going to rest him. Next game he's playing.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's why that's the one thing I've got no time for.
Remember last week against Sevilla, we thought he won't be playing against Burnley. Who started against Burnley in the same position as Saka?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But you know, well, let's move on from that. Yeti, got a question there, mate. Sushil S says Forest have problems on the horizons. 8 of their players going to the AFCON. Ooh.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully they don't get injured. But I mean, last time they came back and they was all right. But I mean, that's the same with any international players. If you're getting quality players, they're going to be wanted by their actual teams, their actual national teams. So I mean, it's just part and parcel of it, isn't it? Really, and I just hope none of them get any injuries. I mean, we have got a lot of depth, but you know, that is quite a lot of players, isn't it? 8 players. But as in going on about what you were saying before about being more conservative and all that kind of stuff, it's a very risky tactic, to be fair, if that is what you're doing. Because, I mean, I thought by the end of last season, you lost it via mentality, not quality.
Yeah.
Although mentality does affect quality as well.
The statement I saw was it was if it was Gary Neville, okay, fair play. I don't know. Yeah, I think it probably was. Listening to Kenny,
and he's a great manager.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he did great, didn't he? I mean, lack of intensity because we're going to go a Formula One car at the end of the season. Well, let's wait and see what happens on that one. Let's get into this. This is an interesting point. It's out there today. The FA are looking to consider bringing in sin bin for dissent in professional competitions, and only captains will be allowed to approach the referee like in rugby league and rugby union. Now, I actually think that is a brilliant thing to do, because if you look at that situation, the Newcastle Arsenal game, right, on a decision there, it's not a law, but no player is supposed to touch the referee.
Yeah.
There was one point in that game, right? I can't remember what the decision was about. There was 3 Newcastle players with their arms on the referee.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot do that in rugby. If you do that, it's yellow card. Off you go. 10 minutes in the bloody sin bin. Dissent to the referee or whatever. It's 10 minutes sin bin. Now, in Law 17 of the FA, if you use foul and abusive language to a match official or an opponent, that can be heard by the referee or a match fan, it's an instant red card. When do you ever see that? Never happens. Kenny?
No.
Give me your opinion on this, and I'm going to come
Well,
to you.
you know what's happened? Some referees do send you off for foul and abusive language. Remember Duncan Ferguson was got with David Ellery. He was set off for calling him an effing bald bastard. And you really should be punishing referees for swearing. But you know what? The referees allow that because some of them do it back. Like for instance, if you watch any podcasts involving Mark Halsey. Mark Halsey, he'll always talk about how he used to swear. A referee used to swear at him, and he used to swear at players. He said, "Oh yeah, f off, get away from me, stay away from me." So what's happening is that some referees, because they have a rapport with a player, they allow it. Because you know this sort of thing about referees not being robots. All referees, trying to treat the players like adults and everything. That's why you do get players having a go at referees. You see that some referees are calling the players by their first name. I've seen it loads of times. Players calling me. Graham Pole's always trying to be friends with the players. He didn't always. Some players didn't want nothing to do with him because they thought he was a prat. Others, or pork chop. Others will all for that, and that's the thing. Again, you've got to have a situation where referees have a situation where there's a distance between them and the players and distance between them and the managers. So if that's the case, where the new crop referees are having that kind of distance, then this is fantastic, bringing them for swearing. But it's a hard thing to do when you've got referees who've got a report of players and they use industrial language to the players and let players use it back. And you know what? The players think, right, that's it, boom, boom. But again, the problem is when it comes to technology for getting decisions right, the football can be like rugby, it can be like cricket, it can be like tennis. But when it comes to things like that, you can't. You're basically treating the players like rugby players. It's like football fans are not like rugby fans. There's no way in a football stadium you can have two fans sitting next to each other. There has to be segregation in football, but you don't have to have that in cricket rugby. So I think that if you're bringing in sin bins for players, swearing and blah, blah, it's a good thing, but I don't think it'll work because too many players now have rapport with managers. And players with referees. I mean, too many players have rapport with referees, and when you've got houses in the world, boom, Anthony Taylor, I don't get any evidence that he's got a close relationship with the players, but I see other referees, and they do have this sort of interaction with the players. So unless they're all like that, and they're all keeping a distance with player managers, then this is
consistency again, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not going to see consistency. It has to be consistent. You have to. All referees shouldn't be on first name terms with players and managers, and they shouldn't have players putting their arm around them, joking with them, and smiling with them. It's just this is your area and that's my area. It's hard to enforce. Referees like that.
Yeah, I think I think it'd be worth a trial. In maybe, let's say, no disrespect to the lower leagues, like below the championship and maybe the upper tier league, give it a go there. If it works, then that could work very well. I mean, when I was up to a reasonable level, I mean, I never got professional, obviously. We used to get assessed a lot, obviously, and I actually got criticised by the local FA because they said this is what really annoyed me, right? They said, you do have quite a high count for sending off players for foul and abusive language. And I went, well, that's what it says in the bloody law book. I'm only going by the law.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, yeah, but sometimes you have to let it go a little bit. I said, well, hang on. The law book says this. So I'm going by the law book. And that, unfortunately, is where a lot of very, very good referees at an amateur level will fall foul. Because a lot of them,
Yeah.
they will go to the letter of the law, and they'll cross the I and, dot the I and cross the T because it says it's in the bloody book.
Yeah.
And they will never make it past that because then their local FA, who will then say, this guy's a really good young referee, give him a chance in whatever semi-pro league, give him a go there and see how he gets on. And if you don't, this is what annoys me now. The whole thing is such a mismatch, in my opinion. It's a mismatch. And it needs to be sorted out. I don't think it ever will be sorted out. But Yeti, what do you think, mate? What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea? Sin bin?
Well, I actually remember an absolutely legendary manager called Brian Clough, who would never let his players. You cancelled, Jez. You cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
Who never let his players go anywhere near a referee. And I don't see why the teams can't do that and the managers can't do that now. The thing is with the referees, like you've just said, you should go by the letter of the law. But we all know, I mean, like for instance, when a player plays, they will go on a reputation of the player. So if a player makes a foul, one will get a yellow, the other won't. Do you know what I mean? Say for instance, if Saka fouls somebody, he won't get a yellow straight away. He hasn't got that kind of reputation. Where if you got a Stuart Pearce or something like that, they more likely would get a card. So that's always bugged me with the referees. The sin bin thing, it sounds pretty much like what they do in the ice hockey and stuff like that. I also have to take into account that these are grown men; they're adults. I mean, if you can't say what you think or anything like that, then I don't get it in that respect. If they going to the referees, there was another problem I have with it as well. Whatever the laws they bring in for the referees, certain referees just stop using it. Certain ones will use it, certain ones won't. And that's the problem because you've got to make sure all the referees are on the same level. So, you can't like they used to have that I think like what you was on about. Is it if 3 people go to the referee, the last one gets a yellow or something like that? They was doing that for a bit and then all of a sudden certain referees just stopped doing it. And it needs to be made clear to the referees, if this is a law, this is what you do. If you don't do it, then you're not doing the job that you're being paid for.
Yeah, that's a fair point, man. It's a fair point. And then, I just think the whole, I don't know. I think that, to me, the FA have lost complete control of, especially
It's ridiculous.
referees. Because the FA in the Premier League referees are totally different bodies now. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. I mean, I've got an idea actually what they could do.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Where they play the footballer and then they're in them big blow up balloon things. Put the ref in them, and then nobody will get near him anyway.
No, I think a shit show, man. So this is what the admin does: creates openings to attack subscribers for their opinions. No, mate, I don't think anybody's attacking you. They're just giving you their view. There's no administrators having a pop, man. You're entitled
It's opinions. It's opinions. It's not
you're
attacking
entitled to your opinion, mate. And there's nobody's gonna block you or anything like that. I can assure you of that. I'll unblock you. Anthony says, Jez and Kenny, have you read about Kiwa might be going out and loan it to Juve? Good luck out there. Have fun.
He just came from Italy, didn't he? Came from Italy last January,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
he's waiting for football. He's not going to get his football. Are Poland got a chance of getting into the Euros next year? Yeah, because I think if Poland's got a chance of getting the Euros, they're going to want him to play regular football.
Mm.
I wouldn't know, mate. I don't watch it myself.
Well, we know Gareth Southgate's got an issue of a certain player who we don't want to talk about because we spent loads of time talking about him. That he can't be guaranteed a place in the squad for Germany if he's not playing first team football. We know it is, but it's one of those things where the January loan, like I said, get out clauses would be good for Arsenal, especially if we got FFP a stranglehold over our finances.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that right now. I'm going to talk about this, right? Drew Gunner, mate, member for 3 months. Big up to you, Drew. Big up to you, Kenny.
Yeah, big up, mate.
Regulars. This is something that's come about today. I was doing some trawling around, trying to find something different to talk about. I know Lee talked about it before I did earlier on this afternoon. So, respectfully, I'm not copying you, mate. I'm not copying you like I was accused of copying another channel a few months back. Hey, Yeti. But there we go. That's how it is.
You do copy it all, to be fair, I mean, you copy that much. I mean, you had Kenny's background on one of your shows. You had his house in one of your shows. That's
on yours. I did it on yours. Did it on yours, man. Yeah. Let's talk about this. Now, first of all, I want to talk about this one. Mama Flossie won't like this. Arsenal are looking to hijack the Ruben Neves move to Newcastle, Kenny. I think that's a great situation.
Well, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Ruben Neves hasn't been take. Other clubs haven't gone through Ruben Neves, but Ruben Neves is a player that he's definitely been our radar. Not as blatantly as Rayo was for those 3 years, but Ruben Neves is a fantastic footballer. He's a great playmaker, great alternative. But if you're going to get Ruben Neves, you're going to have to sell players. Even next season, you're going to have to balance the books. I'm not just talking about January; it's next season. There has to be decisions to be made, and I can think of a few players that we could get money for who haven't. So definitely take him. Can definitely, and he could play that position that we created for Grant Xhaka last season, because we got Odegaard, playing in the playmaker role. We got. I still think that there should be a place for Thomas Partey, but if Thomas Partey situation is to believe that he's leaving in January and he's had enough of playing second fiddle to the other midfielders, and he's not happy with the pace of the game, and he's feeling that it's affecting his injuries or not, then Ruben Neves is definitely going to be a player we need, because we can have Ruben Neves as number 8, Odegaard captain, Declan Rice, who probably should be captain, playing, try and develop his game. So he's not just a DM. He's going to be able to, over a period of time, develop into the player that Thomas Partey was for us. So yeah, that'd be a really, really strong midfield. And we hypothetically we could look at Kai Havertz and say, you know what, you're not the first player who's been bought in he's been bought in September only to be offloaded in January. It happens. Robbie Keane was in Liverpool for half a season, then he went back. He went. Was it Celtic or Tottenham? He went to Tottenham, back to Tottenham or something like that. One of those places, anyway. Robbie Keane was signed from Tottenham, 2008. Didn't last. He ended up. I think he ended up being back in at Tottenham or Celtic. One of those. Either way, he didn't last. Dean Saunders went to Liverpool under Graham Souness. Didn't last. Graham Souness went, now changed my mind. He went to Villa. It happens in football. Clive Allen, how many 63 days at Arsenal?
Yeah.
That thing, John Sheridan only didn't even John Sheridan, Gary Megson, Nottingham Forest, your club, Yeti.
Yeah,
You know, they didn't even last the pre-season. That Brian Clough didn't want them. Didn't even start a league game for you guys.
No way.
Yeah,
That's what I
I
mean,
bought
though.
from
Is
Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah.
Arteta's too much of a big head, though, to admit that he made a mistake. I think that's the only issue with that one.
But it does happen, doesn't it? Managers,
Mhm.
you know, think, oh, why have I bought him? Let's. I've got to sell him.
I'd
He
sell him
doesn't
on a
fit in
car
my
boot
place.
sale, mate. I would.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd be a bloody good player for Arsenal. I really do. He's creative.
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
But let's before we wrap up, I want to move into this. This has all come out of the woodwork today, right? It's all come out.
Here we go.
Abramovich, secret payments, possible FFP issues, right? And Everton possibly looking at a 12-point deduction this week.
Wow.
Now, before I finish, now we all saw, didn't we, last season, Man City 112 reported breaches. Barker a while back accused of bribing refs. Now, let's just put this into context here, right? Yeti, I'm going to come to you first, and I'm going to go to Kenny on this, right? So Abramovich reportedly, right? This has come out from the Guardian newspaper, yeah. Secret payments, possible FFP issues. Everton possibly have been done the same, possible 12-point deduction. To me, that's double standards. Abramovich, it's a bit late now. He doesn't own a sodding club. And he's not interested. He's not going to give a shit.
No.
Well, all right. You know, it happened. Now, the point I'm trying to make here, Yeti, if you were to go and look at the accounts, right, any Premier League club of any substance, I bet you'll find discrepancies. Because I would honestly say to you, right, Jules Graham got done, brown envelopes. I'd love to go and look at Arsene Wenger's bank account.
Give me a lot of bombs went on, weren't they?
I'm going to ask the same thing of Kenny, because I just find this absolutely ludicrous. It's like bolting the door after the horse is bolted. It's a bit late.
Yeah.
If the thing about it is, there's a lot of jealousy towards Man City and Chelsea. The fact is that, and a lot of it is coming from Arsenal fans, because they think that they think, Arsenal was right all along. We couldn't really compete with them. That's a load of rubbish. I think it should be done on the pitch. On the pitch, Chelsea won all those cups and titles fair and square on the pitch. All right, he may have like I said, washed the money through the club, but we all knew he was doing it. We never once thought that Abramovich was clean. We all knew Abramovich was dirty. We always used to joke amongst ourselves that Abramovich was money laundering through his football club. We all knew it.
Of course, he's Russian.
But the thing, what we wanted to do is we wanted to beat Chelsea in the pitch and be good enough to beat Chelsea. Like Man United under Sir Alex Ferguson saw Chelsea off on the pitch, and Man City gazumped them as the big money bags and started, did what Chelsea haven't done, which is dominate English football. It happens. There's never 11 player field in football. The reason why people like Abramovich and Sheikh Mansour's did it is because clubs like Arsenal, Man United had the finances and had the financial muscles themselves. It was a two-horse race for the league, Arsenal, Man United. Liverpool were just in a bit of a mess. So I look at it this way. How does it help Arsenal if all of a sudden you're deducting points from Chelsea this season and you're taking cups? We didn't finish second when Chelsea won the league. We finished second in 2005. We can laugh and joke all we like and talk about, about financial doping, but let's not forget there was a lot of Arsenal fans who wanted Usmanov to do exactly what Abramovich has done. Every football fan wants a billionaire, not a millionaire from Hertfordshire or a millionaire from Mansfield to buy Nottingham Forest, or a millionaire from Chertsey about buy Chelsea, or a millionaire from Sale about Man United. They want a billionaire, or even a trillionaire from China, a billionaire or trillionaire from the Middle East, and a billionaire or trillionaire from Russia. They want overseas big FU money, and they want to do everything Chelsea did, but in terms of buying the best and gazumping everyone. That's what they want, because they know full well that if you do it and you do it properly, you'll dominate it, you'll win trophies. And every club wants that. And any fan who denies it is a hypocrite and a liar. Because
Arsenal,
hit your gob shut. You wanted Usmanov to do what Abramovich and Mansour did. You hated Kroenkes because Kroenkes weren't doing what Abramovich was and Mansour were doing. So you can't go and get on your high horse and your moral high ground. Oh, look, it's financial doping. Chelsea won those titles fair and square because they had the best managers, the best players, and the best team, just like Man City have. How they do it means sweet FA to me. They start talking about regulation rules they don't know anything about. Most fans, 99% of them, haven't got a clue about Premiership regulations. The only way they'll know that rules have been broken is because the media tell them the rules have been broken. That's how they know. And then when they go on podcasts talking about these rules and regulations, it's a clumsy attempt because they don't know what they're talking about.
No.
They don't know what they're talking about. They're not accountants. They're just bitter fans who can't take the fact that Chelsea and Man City had billionaire benefactors which helped them accelerate the process to success. They can't take it. It's sour grapes. And they know it.
You've got a billionaire.
It's all speculation at the end of the day. I mean, all our clubs, all the clubs that's in the Premier League and things like that, they're all up to something. What they're up to, you don't know. Probably never will know. One day, maybe come out, you don't know. I mean, all of a sudden, look at how many players are all of a sudden, he's been betting. He bet 20 years ago and all that kind of thing. And it all just comes out of the woodwork eventually. And I think, like Kenny says, I mean, do you really care? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if all my club, if my team all of a sudden becomes treble winners and it's all done on drug money to buy the players, I couldn't give a stuff, man. It's not me making the decision or anything like that. It's not going to make a difference if I don't like it or anything. Where Everton's concerned, with a 12 points drop, I mean, that's absolutely massive for them. I mean, but at the same point, I would say, how can all these things go through so quick, yet the City thing still hasn't been gone through?
Well, that's a great point. I just want to say this, right? This one's been rumbling for years. Personally, my personal opinion, Arsenal were cheated in the European Cup final. Undoubtedly. And it was incited by, I think it was UEFA.
Big up early doors.
That Barker had been bribing referees back in that time.
Yeah, we got robbed by Anderlecht.
You think it's all they did at Chelsea? Remember what they did at Chelsea? That semi-final when Drogba swore his head off. They did it at Chelsea, didn't they? That was dirty. I mean, I was watching the Owen Mikel podcast, and he said that Chelsea had six penalties. 3 of them would have been with VAR would have been given. I want to say that had Barcelona not equalised and won on away goals, we'd be still playing today. And we're talking 14 years later, 14 and a half years later. Barcelona had to get through that day.
That is a fair point. But my point I was going
to... We've all been robbed at some point. Like I say, we got robbed by Anderlecht, and it was proved afterwards the referee was bribed. Otherwise, we should have 3 stars. But and every team gets it, same as you guys, like you've just said, in the European Cup. And it does happen, and it still happens as well. Nobody will tell me it don't. I mean, I've seen one or two like World Cup finals, like what was it, France against Brazil, and France was amazing all the way through the tournament, and then didn't offer anything in the final. It just made no sense whatsoever. So there's always things like that going on.
The point I was going to say was that I saw this is Arsenal fans calling about this supposed cheating in the European Cup, and if it was investigated, then the cup should be given to Arsenal. It's a bit fucking late now.
You need a replay.
You know what I mean?
You dig all the players up and have a replay.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Let's bring them all back. I mean, come on. It's done. It's gone. It's in the past. It was a bad day out. Yeah, I still say we were cheating, but it's done. Put a line under it and move on. And before we wrap this up, Kenny,
definitely.
Before we wrap this up, right? I saw
Don't
this.
Be Liverpool.
It came to me yesterday, right? Arsenal have dropped some more Invincibles retro merch. I mean, what the fuck is the point of that? Because Muppets will play
it. Jez, when it comes to Arsenal, there's always a market. I was coming,
and it was bullshit then.
I was coming out of I come out of Arsenal matches, and the Arsenal armory is packed with people buying merchandise after the game. It's packed. When we went last week, when I came out of the game against Sevilla, I saw a girl called Kelly. We haven't seen each other for a long time. Grew up together in Islington, in Finsbury Park. She was picking up her daughter. Me and her were out there for an hour because the game finished about 10 o'clock. An hour later, they closed up because there was loads of fans. Loads of fans buying merchandise. Anything with Arsenal sells. I mean, you've got a pork chop who everyone worships called, She War. I mean, the amount of money he makes from the Arsenal selling merchandise. He doesn't like anyone else doing it. He thinks everyone's a money maker except for him. I mean, how confused is that? I mean, Scooby-Doo wouldn't be more confused had he heard that statement. But he seems to think that it's all right for him to make money. But that's the thing. Arsenal sell. And if people will buy it, and full well, our overseas cousins are Arsenal's best customers. Hence the fact they get looked after better than me and you. Because we're a sure thing. For instance, you go on the internet before a game and they'll have all the time zones of when these matches are, or when these matches kick off. So, for instance, if it kick offs at 7:30, you'll have what is the time in Australia? What's the time in Africa? What's the time in America? What's the time in Poland? All over the place in Europe. And that's the thing. Supporters club or supporters, cover over a massive areas across the world. So if I was Arsenal Football Club, I could sell a key ring with the Invincibles on, and I know I'll be quids in. That's the thing.
That's the sad thing about it, man. I mean, when I saw it yesterday morning, I was like, are you sure? I mean, was this my question? I'm just going to do a super chat from Dal. Thank you, mate. Legend. Summer clear out, Jez. 7-8 players out in Jan and the summer. I feel another rebuild is needed. Yeah, I agree with you on that. But Kenny, and thank you, Dal, for that, my friend. I've just got this horrible. I can be a bit of a skeptical bastard, me. Was this,
really? Really?
Was this, well, not really. No.
Never seen that side of you, Jez.
What was this planned with the 0304 2324 scam with the gold shirts? Players, wearing this season.
Yeah, yeah. Of course it was. I'm not saying that we did shit last season because we wanted to make sure we win it win it win it in 2024. We just weren't good enough, and we're probably not going to be good enough this season. But every year we want to win the league, but this year more than any other year, it's poignant that Arsenal win the league, because it'd be, can you imagine winning the league this season? May 2024, we collected the title for being Invincibles, which everyone still goes on about, and then 20 years later to the day, we won a championship. So yeah, it does sell. You know what I mean? It is. Milestones count for a lot of things in football. It does. Everything sells. 30 years since Arsenal won a trophy. Let's go and get a T-shirt. We haven't won a trophy in Europe. Let's get a T-shirt about that.
No, I mean,
how much money did Man United make before they won their first league since 1967? The amount of money they must have made in 1993 when they won the first Premiership title, because it was 26 years and they won it. It made a lot of people money. Gives a lot of people column inches. Everything football's for sale. Everything's for sale. Everyone in football is a stakeholder, and everyone in football wants to earn a quick buck. Wants their pound of flesh. That's the thing.
Definitely.
Everyone's in the earning football.
There is one good side to it, though. I suppose it does actually make these donut fans actually look into the history, because it does actually show. I mean, if any Arsenal fan don't know about the Invincibles, then they should fuck off down the lane anyway. To be honest, but I mean, that's just ridiculous.
They think that Arsenal began with the Invincibles. They think that there wasn't an Arsenal for Arsene Wenger.
Yeah. Well, that's the club's fault, though, isn't it? That's the club's fault, because they don't celebrate.
But I think it's something wrong if fans, the older fans, aren't taking upon themselves, like Jezzy's, to talk about our great history, especially when you've got a lot of fans from abroad who can't get the games. They're going to look at you on your podcast and watch the fan cams and think, you know what? I know everything about the players, but I don't know what an Arsenal fan sounds like, what he looks like, and what he does. I think you've got a duty. If fans are looking at you in that kind of way and in that awe-inspiring, you've got a duty to talk about the club, talk about your experience, but talk about the history, because they don't know it. They don't want to hear it from. They don't want to get an Arsenal dictionary on A to Z. They want to hear it from you. That's all they're interested in. So every Arsenal fan with a podcast of a certain age has got a duty to talk about the good and the bad and the ugly of their club. They have a duty.
Well, a lot of the amazingly, on that YouTube studio thing, you can go and see, like the people that joined last night, and I was quite shocked. The amount of people that joined last night were from overseas. Now, I have got quite a few subs in the States. Predominantly, it's in the UK, Ireland, some in Canada, America, a few in Africa. Last night, it went up by 25 in the African continent, and I was like, I know that.
You know what? You should be glad that it's gone to Africa, because I say it respectfully. If you look at the fan cams, a lot of their kind of how do I say it? Their subscribers do come from areas which you just mentioned. So if they don't know about you or about the other podcast, they're going to think that all Arsenal fans are like the people on the fan cams. They're going to think that the people on the fan cams are the fan base. So it's good that people from that part of the world think, well, hang on here, I want to hear what other Arsenal fans is, because I said yesterday on Lee's show, and I've said it to you, Yeti, as well. people who are lazy, who don't know anything about football, will just come out with logical reasons, which shows a lack of interest and shows their ignorance, and say, right, he's got 1.5 million subscribers. He's the biggest. He runs the fan base. He's the biggest Arsenal fan. Don't listen to any other podcast. Listen to him because he's got 1.5 million subscribers. He's got about his Twitter feeds or his Twitter comments have got about 125,000 views or 1 million views, and it's got about 2,000 plus likes. He's right. He's important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got the most views. He's right. Because everyone agrees with him. Doesn't mean he's right. But that's why you have to use that open goal and think, well, hang on here, challenge them. I think that all these people with big views, big subscribers, or big followers on Twitter, they need to be challenged. Because if you don't challenge them, then they're going to go around earning a quick buck on the club's coattails, and everyone's going to think they're right, and they're not going to correct you because it benefits them.
Yeah.
So you have to correct other people's views of them and change those views, because a lot of those views are nothing to do with the club. It's all to do with boasting their profile at the club's expense. I'll tell you now, club profile money first, then club second, and a low second.
Yeah, that's how it should be, man.
Yeah, you're right. Spot on.
Totally agree with that. I was going to say a couple of things I want to do. Dominic Richardson, you must be one thick prick to think that people are going to think that that's Kenny's real house. So I've actually banned you now because you put your comment in 3 times. I've banned you and your comments have been removed. We all know it's a green screen. It's a virtual.
We do know it's a green screen, but Kenny, someone's nicking your piano, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
as I said before, there's always a wazzock in there, and that's the thing. The wazzock or pork chop in there. He just want to make mischief. You know, I'm not allowed to like say anything against your precious fan cams or your precious podcasters. I mean, they're always right. They got more subscribers than everyone else. They're right. They speak nicely. They're right. I mean, doesn't matter that. If they saw you down the street, they'll get a copper and call you a stalker. Don't worry. You know, you've got this illusion of nice people.
Yeah. I mean, Michael says Hybrid Squad have changed the name of the series to Soccer's Dads to Embarrassing Dads. Yeah, quite right. Jesus Christ,
Less said about it better. Less said about it better. Yeah, Dave, you've got what you wanted. You got yourself noticed. You know,
I mean, God, if my dad had done that to me, man, I would have been so embarrassed. I don't know. I'd ever speak again.
Hey, Dad, I'm a boxing fan, and there was a situation where a boxer was on the ropes, and the boxer on the ropes, his mum came in the ring and hit the fighter who had him on the ropes with his shoe, and the boxer on the ropes won the fight because the fighter didn't want to fight anymore. But it's well documented. His surname's Wilson, a boxer, black boxer Wilson. He was getting knocked out, hit on the ropes. His mum ran in the ring and hit the other fighter with a shoe. So parents who defend their kids, that is one extreme. What we saw on Monday was just opportunism, because they've had the guy on the podcast before, and dare I say it, who knew that with your son being dropped and the fact that his replacement is getting so much flack, who knew that everyone will be talking about it? I mean, it's a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's a point. I like this comment here. Kenny loves the stream, drives off in his Rolls. What have you got now, Kenny? What Rolls Royce is it you got, man, now?
It's funny that's only one of them. I swapped the Rolls for a Bentley.
Oh, man.
You got a Lamborghini as well.
There you go. That shows the class of Kenny, because that's what I'd have. You know, if I was I've
always preferred a Bentley to a Rolls.
Absolutely. If I was a penny behind you, mate, I'd have one too. But I don't work in them levels. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
When I finish the show, I drive off on the bike that I've just nicked from the council.
Yeah, well, I'll be on I'll be on my pins, mate, out the studio. You know what I'm saying? Guys, Kenny, awesome show. Thank you very much. Awesome show last night. Thank you once again coming on. Hope you have a great evening, and please shout out your Insta. It's been pinned in the comments today.
My Instagram is Kenny Ken 1972. Got a lot of material. There's certain things I swerve because it's too political, and there's certain things it's too silly to talk about. But everything else is up for topic, especially when it's football, bit of boxing, and a bit of cricket. But as I said before, is the thing. Hey, I've moved now to I used to be Barnet. But you won't see me in Barnet now. You're more than likely to see me around Crouch End now, Hendon Guna.
Oh, Crouch End.
Yeah, Crouch End. You're more than likely to see me around the Crouch End, Hornsey area.
Got up in the world. That is your pad.
I don't know. You want to be nearer to the club. You want to be nearer to Arsenal. I want to come as near as I can to Islington and afford it.
You can walk the dog for him.
Yeah. I actually got a dog. I've got a Yorkie poodle, but people only believe me when they hear the dog barking or they see me walking the dog. If I didn't hear the dog barking and didn't see me walk the dog, they wouldn't believe it because, people knew me. I used to be petrified of dogs when I was a kid. So for me, I have a dog in the house is something that's just is unusual and unthinkable.
Thank you, mate, for that. Early doors football, mate. It's good to see you back, Tone. I haven't seen you for ages.
Yeah, man. Good to see you, man.
You're in AWOL, so I'm glad to see you back in the house. Good to see you. Yeti, mate. Just going to do a couple of comments.
Yeah.
If I can come up here, please, mate. Tomorrow night you're on with me.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about our home and away days, our stories. Good and bad.
Oh yeah.
Hey, say hello to Boatsy when you see him, Yeti.
I will do, mate. I will do.
So, mate, shout your show out, mate. Where can we find you? What's coming up on your channel?
Right. First of all, I'd say thanks for having me on, Jez and Kenny. You two are absolute legends, and this is becoming a regular thing, which is awesome, which I'm really enjoying. So it's always a privilege to chat with you guys. One thing I want to clear up as well, big up to everybody in the chat, and I took much notice of it, but I was just checking on my cat because he isn't well. So basically, I wanted to say something's happened, unfortunately, to do with the bullying thing, what we did before. There was a guy called Inquisitor, and basically tried to do favors for a certain person, allowing him to edit for the channel and things, paying the person as well. They've all of a sudden turned on the guy, got loads of people to bully him, and he hung himself on a live stream. His friends got to the place and managed to get through the door, but he was already gone. So that's another person gone who's just a genuine, decent person. Tried to help people out, and they basically just took him out, basically. And I'm sorry, but me and Mama Flossie was on about this earlier, and there needs to be a law. There needs to be some kind of coercion to manslaughter or something like that, where these people get done for what they're actually doing, because it's absolutely disgraceful. And I've already said time and time again, if you want to chat to anybody, I'm always there on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Don't let these people drag you down, man. You know what I mean? Don't. And it's not that easy. Some people have the ability to not let it get to them. Some people don't. And you know what? He's a really nice guy as well. And he's gone now. So it's being looked into apparently, and I really hope something gets done with it. Because if things don't get done with it, it's never going to change. So you've got to absolutely nail these people, put them in prison, make them realise just what they're doing is not a good idea. And the prats and pricks like P.A. Wood won't exist anymore, because they'll be too frightened of having to go to prison and bend over and grab the soap with the top guy in the same shower, which nobody wants. So my channel is Long-Haired Yeti's Cave. Did a 7-hour stream yesterday, playing a game called Dungeons 4, which was epic, and I had quite a lot of people in the chat, which was brilliant. Thanks for that. And basically, be on with Jez tomorrow, talking about away days and home days, going to Forest and stuff like that, which is going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. I got some good stories. And yeah, Long-Eared Yeti's Cave. I'm on 95 subscribers. So if you can, hit me up, get me a subscription. And also hit the like and subscribe on this channel as well. And make sure you follow Kenny Ken. It's an absolute legend.
I was just going to say, yeah, after this, please go and smash the 5 subs. Let's get 15 subs on the Yeti's channel. Let's get 110 minimum. Let's get there.
Subscribe to Yeti's channel.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get him to 150 by Christmas at least. At least.
Cheers, guys.
And this is a good comment, man. 14 incoming. Big up, Jez. People accuse you of always follow what Lee does, don't know what they are talking about. I remember you gave Arteta 3 out of 10 and Lee gave 0 out of 10 and didn't change your rating afterwards. Look, Kenny.
Well, Lee told him to say that, so they sounded like they was different.
But Kenny and I, we have our opinion. And I appreciate your comment there, because there are a lot of people that think that we just follow what Lee says. I can tell you right now, Kenny and I do not.
Wow.
We do not. We have debates, man, about this off screen. And I had a debate 3 weeks ago with Lee off screen after we did a player ratings. We went on to 1:30 in the morning. We had a 1.5 hour chat about.
And that's what we do. But you know what? People who turn against us because they don't like Lee, or turn against Lee because he don't like, they're not worth thinking about. If your first sentence is, "Oh, I used to like you, but I've stopped because you're with Lee," I say, "Well, fuck off."
Yeah.
Just, I don't want to swear, but that's off. Get lost. Go away then. Don't come and talk to me again. You can't. You're not. I don't want to talk to you. Full stop. That's it. You've done it. I'm done with you, because as far as I'm concerned, you're a waste of time, because those sort of people you don't want around you anyway. You know, there's so many, for every prat like that, there's always going to be someone who's loyal, who's funny, kind, and you know what? A good person to be around. There's thousands of people like that compared to that one person who's, "Oh, I don't like you because anymore because you go away." Off you 100%. Go then. Go through that door and don't come back into my space.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I mean, it's just the most. I'm not going to get into it. I'll just get pissed off. We'll wrap it up, people. Thanks people for watching. Joe, mate, I think you're just been a little bit sensitive. Nobody's having a pop at you. All people are saying is just they're giving an opinion, man.
Man, it's just opinions, mate.
That's what there's no nasty.
We all have one.
There's no nasty.
Yeah, like arseholes.
It's just opinions. I don't have any.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it is what it is. So we're going to bounce. I'm going to do the outro. Thanks for watching. Go over to the Yeti's channel, smash it up. Let's get 110 tonight. The man deserves it. He talks some great stuff.
Big love to Inquisitor, man. Rest in peace.
Well, he does keep on about the 2-star thing, but just don't worry about that.
Well, I've got to give you the facts, haven't I?
Yeah, it's true. They have won the European Cup twice.
I'm well known for giving facts. I might actually get you a T-shirt that says, stars are coming one day or something like that.
Please don't. Please don't. Anyway, guys, we're out of here. I'm going to do the outro. Thanks for watching. If you're new, please sub and smash the likes up. It does help. And thanks all for being here. And early doors, I'll get you on here soon. You've gone missing. You've gone AWOL. You need to come and chat about it. Take care, everyone.
Laters.